the question, what is my purpose in life? Passion is your purpose in life. Your purpose is passion. What does that mean? It means that passion and all of its expressions, excitement, happiness, joy, creativity, love, are all different ways of expressing the vibration of your true natural self, what we call your signature frequency. Your signature frequency is that resonant energy, that vibration that is unique to you, that identifies you as a unique aspect of all that is of creation. And the way you apply that signature frequency through passion is to act on your highest excitement to the best of your ability, with no insistence or assumption as to what the outcome ought to be, as to what to come to fruition, but to allow the synchronicity in your life to present to you the opportunities that contain that excitement so you can recognize it, because excitement is the compass needle that points to your magnetic north. And by acting on it to the best of your ability, you will bring about in your life what we call the complete kit. You will allow it to work for you. And you will discover very readily, very easily, that excitement can function in your life as the driving engine, as the organizing principle, as the path of least resistance, as the thread that leads to all other expressions of excitement, and as the reflective mirror that will reveal to you what may be within you that is out of alignment with that excitement, so you can identify it and bring it back into alignment and expand your excitement in that way. And simply by following that formula of acting at every moment to the best of your ability on your highest excitement, with no insistence on how the outcome should look, you will activate that complete kit, and it will work for you automatically, effortlessly, every moment, without fail, as it's working for you now. But the idea is to not use the mechanism of creation to reinforce the things that are out of alignment with your preferred self, your natural self, your true self, but to use the very same mechanism to reinforce what is in alignment with who you prefer to be. As you allow yourself to move forward in that way, your life will become an ecstatic explosion of synchronicity, very magical. Things will begin to happen all around you, because magic is, again, the true nature of existence. Miracles are the natural order of things, not the exception. And you can experience more and more of that miraculous magic the more you are in alignment with your natural energy, with your natural flow. Your willingness to act this way in life is a commitment that you make to yourself that leads you to the understanding that there is, in fact, a fundamental principle to this idea of acting on your passion. But before we get to that, let us give an example, shall we say, of how this concept can be practically applied in your physical reality, by using the example of some form of project or business or career that may excite you, that you may be very attracted to, and demonstrate at every step, at every point, how to allow yourself to stay in alignment with that energy. So first and foremost, of course, the principle itself of passion, being that you need to act on those things that really are representative and reflective of that highest excitement, that joy, that creativity. Now, of course, again, please remember that excitement doesn't mean that you have to be jumping up and down, running around, as you say, with your hair on fire. But the idea is that it can be experienced as bliss, as a state of balanced peace as well. There are many expressions of the idea of passion and excitement. Those and also compassion being one of them. But as you allow yourself to experience this excitement, this bodily, physical translation of that vibrational energy that is your signature frequency, and you thus gravitate and attract yourself to some project, business, career, or what have you, or even just moment to moment, step by step, first and foremost, make sure that the project, I'll just use that term for now, is truly representative of your highest passion in all ways, so that you do it in the way that is most exciting, so that it is really reflective of your excitement in all of its aspects, that it is, in all of its components, truly aligned, truly being experienced, truly being created, truly being laid out with that passion in mind, so that you are doing it where you wish to do it that's most exciting, with whom you wish to do it that's most exciting, which leads you to the idea of another principle of passion, and that is, after passion, after project, then there is preparedness. Be prepared. Learn the things that are germane, that will give you the skills, that will give you the abilities to follow up on your passion. And again, as we said, there is no need to be afraid that some of the things that are required that you might need to learn would have to be learned in any other way other than the way that's most exciting. Many of you have this misunderstanding that just because you have to learn something in order to better enable you to act on your passion, that somehow the learning of that thing is outside of your passion. Nothing could be further from the truth. There is always a way. If you truly need to learn something, if you truly need to develop a skill that will give you a better ability to act on your passion, there is always going to be a way that's the most exciting way you can learn that thing. So please don't create contradictory definitions within your excitement by assuming that you can act on your excitement, but that the thing you need to learn to do it best would actually be not exciting. That's a contradiction in the definition of excitement. Anything that you truly need to learn must, by definition, be capable of being learned in a way that is equal to the excitement of the thing itself. If you want to look at that as an equation and a formula, go ahead. But that's the way it works. Your definition of excitement must be clear and self-consistent so that you don't have contradictory and conflicting definitions within your consciousness about what your excitement is or what other areas of your life it extends into that would somehow be contrary to that excitement, which it cannot be if it's a true definition. If you find that there is conflict, if you find there's contradiction, then it is important to realize that you may not have a clear definition of excitement, and it's time to refine that, time to examine it, time to explore it, time to make sure it's all lined up and that all the definitions you're using for the things you really need to do are being defined in the most exciting way possible. After you know that this is your passion, after the project is designed by you to be expressed in the most exciting way, after you have attracted to yourself the idea of all the things you need to learn to be prepared in the most exciting way, then the next, after passion and project and preparedness, is people. Attract to yourself all the best people who are equally excited about what it is you are doing, who you wish to work with side by side, who you wish to collaborate with. Because again, doing what excites you the most must not only be done where it's most exciting, how it's most exciting, but with whom it's most exciting. And if those people do not exhibit the same passion, the same compatible vibration, they may not be the ones that really need to be aligned with you or you with them. Do not fear to allow yourself to recognize that things may be vibrationally incompatible with some individuals, because by allowing yourself to only align with those who are vibrationally compatible with your passion and you with theirs, you are thus allowing more synchronicity to occur, more magnification and amplification and acceleration to occur. And you're also doing a favor, a loving favor to those who are not vibrationally compatible by letting them go their own way. Because then you are allowing them to find what is truly exciting for them instead of holding them to something that may not really be exciting for them. Allow yourself to make sure that arena is also clear and clean. And finally, in this 5-part idea, after passion, after project, after preparedness, after people, is persistence. The idea of following through, of taking action in all the ways that need to be taken, all the way out, all the way through. And again, there is absolutely nothing about these ideas of persistence and these ideas of taking action and following through that has to be in any way contradictory to the vibration of your excitement and your passion. There will always be a way to do that. And again, in some senses, it is self-reinforcing, because if you truly, truly, truly are passionate about what it is you're taking action on, then you will persist, because nothing else excites you more than this. And that brings about its own persistence. And this brings us to the true underlying fundamental principle of passion. And that is, you have brought yourself to a place where there is no other choice. Period. You ensure that you don't create reasons that are contradictory to the idea of your passion. You don't create any other choice that seems as exciting, as reasonable, as logical for you to persist on. The idea of following through and persistence will come automatically with your passion when you allow yourself to recognize truly that you've arrived at a place where there is no other choice in that moment but that thing that is representative at that moment of your highest joy, your highest passion. Don't create reasons to do things that are outside of that vibration. Now, that being said, as has been said, certainly you have to honor your belief system as it exists in that moment. Because if you really do believe that your excitement can't support you, and you believe you need to hold on to the things that you're doing that are not necessarily representative of your highest excitement, but you believe you need them in order to support yourself in life, then honor your belief system and don't let go of those things until you yourself are absolutely certain, absolutely know, at whatever rate you're comfortable, at whatever pace works best for you, that your excitement can in fact support you. But at least give yourself the chance, at least give yourself the opportunity. Every single opportunity you can act on that is representative of your excitement, act on it to the best of your ability with no insistence on the outcome. And bit by bit, by bit by bit, and day by day by day, you will allow your excitement to demonstrate to you, to prove to you that more and more every day in every way it actually will bring about the synchronous opportunities and the synchronous circumstances that will be capable of supporting you in some way, shape, or form, as long as you are willing to open up your definitions of what support means. Because again, excitement being a complete kit will bring you the type of support that is truly necessary at that moment, even though it may be very different looking than the type of support you're used to receiving or that your society has taught you think you need in order to go to the next stage or the next level. The type of support that needs to be there to allow you to continue to act on higher and higher levels of your excitement will be there if you allow yourself to understand, again, how not to have a contradictory definition of excitement and understand it as a complete kit. And by complete, we mean complete, which means it leaves nothing out that you truly need. This is how the mechanism works. And the real fundamental principle, when you finally get to the point of acting on your passion because there is simply no other choice for you, you will accelerate at such a rate, and your life will become so ecstatic and so magical, and things will appear before you in such a synchronistic way that you will think you are dreaming, which you are. But you will be experiencing it in the physical dream. And it will be one more way that you can demonstrate and prove to yourself that you are creating your reality, that your definitions in your conscious mind, in what makes up your personality structure, are the foundations that determine how you experience yourself in reality, as reality, how it's reflected to you. And as you get a handle on understanding that those definitions are the blueprints, and as you allow yourself to change your definitions to be more in alignment with your passion, more representative of how you prefer to define your life, yourself, your circumstances, then again you create more and more alignment, more and more harmonics within your experience of reality. And you can use whatever feelings may come up when the kid of excitement may show you something, may reveal something in you that might be out of alignment with your passion, with your true vibration. You can use those harmonics. You can use that assurance that if you change your definitions, you'll bring it back into alignment. You use your feelings, you use your emotions to trace back to what definitions must be true in order for you to have those feelings, because no feeling can be had without a definition first. And the more you understand and apply this, and truly, truly understand that this is a description of the mechanism of creation itself, and use it from that perspective, then again, the more everything will flow, the smoother everything will be. It's really that simple. Simple as coming down to the realization and the understanding that there is no other choice for you. And you don't have to invent any other reasons to do something other than that. You don't have to buy into any definitions that are out of alignment with what you prefer. That's really the simple principle, the fundamental principle underlying passion, is that you are making a decision, you are making a choice, and that choice is this and nothing else that is not representative of your highest joy, of your highest frequency. And again, at whatever rate is comfortable for you. But that's how it works. Does that make sense to you? Yes. Is that something you think you can get passionate about? All right.
So, before we talk specifically about the energy of excitement, let's talk now about the idea of the belief system within your personality. Let us begin with the basics. You are an unbroken consciousness. You are one spirit. But when you choose to experience the idea of physical reality, then certain things have to be created in order for your spirit to have that experience. You must create what is called the physical personality. This is similar to the idea of when you want to go scuba diving, you must bring certain apparatus with you, such as a diving suit and a breathing apparatus and a mask to be able to see clearly underwater. So as a metaphor, there is your spirit hovering above physical reality, just like a diver would hover above the surface of the water, looking down into it, wondering, I wonder what's down there. And so the spirit, looking into physical reality, saying, I wonder what's down there, I think I'll go see, must then create the proper tools to be able to function down in physical reality vibration, which is a little bit lower than the spiritual level in frequency. Now, of course, from time to time, spirits can pay short visits to physical reality, but this is the same idea as simply jumping in the water without scuba equipment and holding your breath for a while before you come back up. But in order to really stay down there and explore for a long time, you have to have the breathing equipment, the proper equipment to be able to see and appreciate what is going on under the water or down in physical reality. And just as water is denser than air, the vibration of physical reality is, in a sense, denser or thicker than non-physical spirit reality. And just as you move more slowly in water than you do in air, things move a little bit more slowly in physical reality than they do in spirit, because the vibration is lower. The spirit must lower its frequency down into a slower vibration of time and space. And in order to explore time and space, physical reality for a long time, you must create the proper apparatus, that is, the body and the personality. So then, as you generate the idea of transforming into a body, you simultaneously then form, as the body grows, the concept of the structure called physical personality. And for the general theme that you know you are choosing to explore in physical reality, you will in a sense then choose generally the people that you will be with, your parents, and the general time of your birth, so that the frequency of physical reality at that moment will in a sense create an imprinting upon the body that generates a specific kind of personality. And this is the basis of the concepts that you call astrology and so forth, because what is happening is that when you physicalize, it's like crystallizing a moment in the totality of space-time, and that is like being able to read a general blueprint of the kind of personality structure you have frozen in order to explore the theme in physical life. In that sense, the personality is analogous to the idea of an ice crystal. It has a certain kind of beautiful form and structure. It has a pattern that can be understood and appreciated and read. Now, the unique thing about the personality, however, is that while it is, in a sense, frozen in one way, it is very fluid in another way. In order to explore physical reality, you must maintain the basic components of personality, which is thoughts and emotions and beliefs. But because you are never disconnected from the spirit that you have the ability to constantly rearrange the pattern of the ice crystal of your personality, to change the beliefs, the emotions, and the thoughts. So as long as you choose to remain physical, you will maintain the general framework of a personality, but you will constantly change the content of the framework. And the framework, once again, is beliefs, emotions, and thoughts, and action in that sense, or behavior. The first level of the personality is beliefs. They are definitions that you are taught to believe are true about reality. It is very important how that is phrased. We are not saying that beliefs are true representations of reality. We are simply saying beliefs are what you have been taught to believe are true representations of reality. Without a belief or a definition of reality, you cannot experience physical reality. Conversely, everything that you do experience of physical reality stems from what you believe or define to be most true about physical reality. From this idea, you can clearly understand that if you want to change the experience of physical reality, what you need to do then is change the belief, change the definition you have of reality. Now, please understand that when we go into detail about how to change your definition and how to change your beliefs, we're talking about how to do this more consciously, because you're already doing this all the time. If you were not changing your beliefs and definitions all the time, you would not have an experience of time and space in physical reality. Nothing would seem to change at all. So you are really very, very rapidly, on an unconscious level, changing your definition of reality all the time in order to have a sense or an experience of continuity and motion and the change of time. And by bringing a certain aspect of this ability into more conscious awareness, it gives you more control as to exactly how to change those definitions and what kind of experience of physical reality to have. We will get to the idea more specifically of how to change definitions and beliefs in a moment. But first, let us go to the next component that creates physical personality, that is emotion. Emotion is literally energy in motion. And all emotions must come from beliefs. In other words, you have to have a belief about something before you can actually feel a certain way about that thing. If you don't have a definition of something, if you don't believe something to be true in a certain way, then you don't actually have a feeling about that thing, or not very much of one. So all of the feelings that you experience in life stem from a definition that exists within your personality first. And then the third component is the idea of thoughts, your mental side. And so all thoughts, in a sense, stem from the emotions, which stem from the beliefs. In some senses, thoughts can also generate more directly from beliefs as well, but they usually come through the emotional component at the same time. And this forms the triangular structure of the personality, which is belief, emotion, and thought patterns. All together, these three components then determine behavior, action. This is why you have a saying on your planet. You know who they are, you know who a person is, not so much by what they say, but by what they do. Because when a person just says something, you may be dealing with only really one or two, in a sense, of the components of the personality structure. You may be dealing with all three, but not in an active way. But when you see a person's behavior, you can know, without a doubt, that you are seeing the result of the activation, the engagement of all three personality components fully engaged, fully active. And then you can tell from your own behavior, your own actions, or someone else's behavior, someone else's actions, as to whether or not there is any imbalance or negativity in any of the three components of their personality. Since the triangle of personality is belief and emotion and thought patterns, the idea is that these three must be in perfect equilibrium, perfect balance. In a sense, you could use a metaphor and say that if there are negative beliefs and negative emotions and negative thought patterns, then in a sense, you could say that the triangle is reversed. And then you can learn to bring it back into balance with the ideas and techniques that we will be discussing this day. The reason that this is so important is as follows. If you are going to create the reality you prefer, if you are going to manifest your dreams, you must allow the physical personality to be in balance. That's one thing. You must create the beliefs, emotions, and thought patterns to be in a positive state of energy. And in order for these ideas, in a sense, to stay with you, for you to be able to use them, you must be in harmony with your spirit and in harmony with creation. What this means in simple language is you must be willing and able to love yourselves fully, unconditionally, and accept the unconditional love of all that is. Because no matter how many techniques we may teach you or how many tools we may share with you, none of them will really stick very strongly or have a strong effect if you do not harmonize with yourself and creation first by staying within a state of unconditional love. Anytime you move out of that vibration of loving yourself and receiving the love of creation, the tools will be less effective. The techniques may still work a little bit, but they will not be as powerful, they will not be as lasting. The reason that the tools are designed this way, to be more effective when you are in that state, is so the tools will always guide you back to that state where they work best. So all the tools and techniques contain a self-guidance system to bring you back into alignment, or perhaps more specifically, to make you want to go back into alignment so that they will work more powerfully. So the tools, in a sense, are functioning like the scuba diver's mask. When you are out of alignment with your self-love and the love of creation, it's like taking the mask off. Suddenly everything underwater looks murky and fuzzy and indistinct. It's harder to tell what direction you're going in because you cannot see the landmarks under the water as clearly. But when you put the vibration of love back into the equation, it's like putting the mask back on, and suddenly everything is sharp and clear and your path is well defined. Now suddenly it's not just things close up you can see. Now you can see the big picture. You can see and appreciate at a distance. So, when you are then using the techniques we are going to share and you find that they are not working so strongly, center yourself, get back into alignment, love yourself, receive the love of the infinite, stay in that space, and they will work just fine. When you stay in that state of love, you have a 100% guarantee from the infinite that these tools will work as advertised. The thing that is beautiful about creation is that guarantee never expires. It is forever.
Yes?
Okay. So, let's say you regret an experience out of your past. Oh, not regret.
Say that again.
You had a sexual experience when you were a kid.
Yes.
That you regret.
All right.
And because of that,
Yes.
I feel not all the way pure.
All right. So let me ask you this question. Are you that kid now?
No.
So why are you continuing to recreate that experience in your present?
I think it's society.
Why are you choosing to continue to recreate that experience in your present if you're not that person anymore? Did you learn from it? Did you learn from that experience that you preferred something different?
I'm not sure that I all the way believe that I'm not that kid, because society tells us.
All right, we'll get to that in a moment.
Yes.
We'll get to that in a moment. Answer this question first. Did you learn something from that experience that allowed you to realize that you prefer something different? Yes or no?
Yeah.
All right. So are you applying that new knowledge in your life now? What you learned, are you behaving in a different way?
Am I behaving in a different way? Yes.
All right. So doesn't the new behavior supersede what happened in the past?
What does supersede mean?
Take the place of. Doesn't it replace what happened in the past because you have learned from it and are now applying a new behavior? Doesn't that make you a different person?
I want to say yes.
Why do you want to say yes?
Because
it feels better, doesn't it?
It does feel better.
Then why not believe it, regardless of what society says? Why not believe you are a different person now?
Because society makes me feel wrong.
Because society says what?
They make me feel wrong, or they make me feel...
They don't make you feel anything. They may suggest how you could make yourself feel, but if you don't prefer to feel that way, why are you agreeing with them? Because you're the one making yourself feel what you're feeling. No one else can make you feel anything.
That's right. So
I know.
I just practice. So is there a way to get there? Is it probably by follow my highest excitement that eventually...
The formula will help.
Okay.
But you also have to really understand how things work, what the structure of existence is like. Everything exists here and now. You understand that time is an illusion?
Yes.
Even your scientists understand this now. Yes? It's not real. It's a side effect. Time is a side effect of your consciousness shifting through billions of parallel reality moments every second. So if everything exists here and now, the only way you can experience what appears to be different moments is by actually shifting your focus within the now to a different now, which means you're a different person. Because everything that changes in the now changes everything in the now. It's not the same reality from one moment to the next, literally. Otherwise, you wouldn't have the experience of time. So the idea is that you literally are a different person when you change anything about yourself, and you're becoming a different person billions of times a second. So it's not about the idea of learning how to change, it's about the idea of realizing that you're constantly changing and constantly a different person in a different reality, in a different version of Earth, moment to moment to moment to moment to moment to moment to moment, and you get to say what you are, what person you are, how you define yourself every single moment. So you get to choose. As I just said, your greatest power is the freedom to choose who you prefer to be. And it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks you should be. They're not living your life. They're not your reality. You are your own universe. So be who you prefer to be. Define yourself as you prefer to. Behave as you prefer to, knowing that it's just as real as anything else you've ever done, because that wasn't actually you. You have to understand that everything exists at the same time, which means every single moment is actually about a different person. So even though you might have this illusion of continuity, that younger person was you, it isn't you. It's a different person. You're a different person than that you. It's not the same you. It may look like you may be creating a continuity that makes it seem like there's a continuous stream between that younger you and this particular you, but there isn't. That's an illusion. That's a different person. It's not you. You've changed, and therefore you're a different person, literally. Yes?
Yes.
That's how it works. So be the person you know you are now, instead of recreating the idea that you are still a person you've never been. You've never been that person. Now that you are defining yourself in this way, that definition literally makes you a completely different person who has never been that other person. This is what we call the 13th step. This is the idea of the true understanding that every change is total change and that things are changing, as I said, billions of times per second. I'll use the analogy that people on your planet often use of what you call addiction. When you see people suddenly stop doing addicting behavior, some kind of miraculous shift where one day they are having that behavior and the next day they are not, it's not because they actually stopped doing it. It's because the person they've become never did it. They have no history of doing it, and that's why it's so easy for them to not have any urges about the idea that they used to do it, is because they never did. They're not the same person, literally, anymore, and never have been that person. The illusion of continuity is broken. That's how you allow yourself to know you're changing, truly changing, into different people every moment. Let go of the illusion of continuity that anchors you to a past you never had, because everything is created from the present, including the past.
So my past is even different now than
Yes.
it was. Okay.
That's the idea. Now, it's going to seem to be. Whatever you create yourself to be is going to come with whatever past you still believe is relevant to you. But as you change the relevant definition, you're going to create a past that makes sense for the person you are now, because that's how it works in space-time. If you change yourself differently enough, you have to create a past that makes it make sense in space-time as to how you became the person you are now, which means you had to have had a different past than you had before in order to be the person you are now. because everything is created from the present. There's no such thing as the past. It's an illusion. It's just another parallel present reality that you can decide to experience or not. So break the continuity and realize that every single moment that you become a different person, you have a different past. It may seem like it's always been the past, but that's just what has to come with it in order for you to have a sense of continuity in space-time reality.
Okay.
Many of you don't even know how many pasts you've experienced. Even collectively, as we have often given examples, what you consider to be your history as a collective right now may not necessarily have been your history 5 minutes ago. But it will seem to have always been your history. Oh yes, everyone knows that in XBC this... You don't know that that's the way it was 5 minutes ago. It might have been completely different 5 minutes ago, but it's going to seem like it's always been that way when you create a new past.
Okay.
Is this helping?
Yeah, this is helping.
All right.
I just want to share my experience of the weekend
Yes.
because I think it's helpful, and there comes a question with it.
Yes.
The last days, just being in the room.
Yes.
I asked the question the first day, but just being in the room, I felt like my vibration was shifting on a level.
Yes, because you are picking up on the frequency that we give off through the channel's body, and you're willing to match the frequency that's a higher frequency representation of yourself.
And I also think because I allowed it this time
Yes.
too, because you taught us to see everything as a positive in the
Yes.
formula. Yeah.
And also remember what we have called the AAA formula. On your culture, you have the synchronous convenience of having something called AAA, which you often use to rescue you when your vehicle breaks down. So the idea is we're suggesting a different AAA formula when you feel that your vehicle, yourself, has broken down and you feel the need to be rescued. Allow yourself to remember this AAA formula. A, acknowledge what you have, not what you don't have. B, appreciate what you have. And number 3, allow what needs to happen next to happen. Acknowledge, appreciate, allow. That's all you need to bring yourself back to center. Acknowledge what you have, not what you don't have. Appreciate what you have and allow what needs to happen next to happen.
Is this part of the excitement formula too, or?
It is a subset of it. It's a permission slip designed based on it.
Okay.
Yes.
Now in the excitement formula, what really helped me to increase my vibration is I feel like I always followed my excitement.
Well, not always.
Not always, but recently I've been really going for it and
All right.
not doing the not having the insistence.
Yes.
But I feel like where I always when something happened that I didn't like so much, preferred.
Is it truly a recognition of neutral non-preference, or is it a fear reaction? You have to have the ability to discern that honestly within yourself too.
It might have been a fear reaction, but I cleared that out.
All right.
By giving it the possibility that it's giving it a positive meaning.
It doesn't mean that you say that what is negative is positive. It means you stay in a positive state so that you can recognize how to use what is negative in a positive way.
How do you stay in a positive state if you see something?
Did we not explain that before? What other choice are you giving yourself? Why would you leave the positive state? What reasons are you creating to leave it?
It's just a natural reaction of
It is not a natural reaction. It is a learned reaction.
So how do I relearn?
By following the formula and keep practicing it until it becomes not second nature, first nature.
So by following the formula, it will automatically...
Keep doing it, just like anything. If you want to learn to play an instrument, what do? You keep practicing. So just keep doing it. Every chance you get, remind yourself to go back into that state.
Okay.
That's it.
I have
All you have to do.
I have a question about the formula,
Yes.
and I'll make it as an example because I think it's easier. This morning, so my highest excitement today clearly was coming here.
Otherwise, you wouldn't be here.
Exactly. But I realized there's a difference in excitements. So let's say my highest excitement is here, but
Yes.
there's a time span
Yes.
from me waking up
Yes.
to me getting here.
So,
So
why can't that be exciting too?
that can. I'm just asking if, because when I wake up, in between those little moments, should I still ask?
Every moment can be as exciting as the next. It doesn't matter what it is you're doing. Do it in the way that's most exciting for you. Even the simple things, getting out of bed, getting dressed. Do it in the way that's most exciting for you so that you are allowing those moments to be what they can be. Don't diminish them. Don't devalue them.
No, of course, yeah. So on the way to my highest.
No. It's not on the way. Every moment is part of your excitement if you allow it to be and act as if it is and do it in the way that is most exciting. You're making a difference between those moments and other moments by saying, I'm on the way to my excitement. No, every moment.
Because on some points, it doesn't feel like I know what my next highest excitement
You don't
is.
have to know. It's very simple, very simple. You don't have to know the ultimate. Just take it a step at a time. If you want to, again, practice this, do it in exactly the way I just suggested. When you wake up in the most exciting way you can. What do you want around you when you wake up? Do you want flowers in your bedroom? Do you want a certain scent in your bedroom? Do you want a certain chime on your alarm if you use that? Do you want to wake up to music? Wake up in the most exciting way you can. If you want to stay in bed for a few minutes and recount your dreams, and that's more exciting, do it. When you finally decide that you wish to be excited about rising from your bed, do it in the most exciting way you can. Whether it's a soft, calm swinging of your legs over the side, planting your feet in those wonderful, cozy slippers, or jumping and leaping out of bed, fully naked, into the bedroom. Do it in the way that's most exciting for you. And then every moment will feel fulfilling, and it's not that you will be ignoring them and invalidating them by saying that they're nothing more than a way on the way to your excitement. This is what we're talking about. Every moment.
So I make every moment a way.
Use your imagination.
Is it good to ask the question every moment, or does it make you just confused?
If that excites you, but once you practice it and get used to doing your life that way, you won't have to keep asking the question. You will know what to do because you'll know yourself. Remember, it comes down to that ancient phrase, know thyself. So when you know who you are, you will start doing the things in the way that you would do them. That will always be the most exciting way you can do it, because why would you do those things any other way? If you are living your excitement, then do everything in your life in the most exciting way you can. Everything. Don't leave anything out. Why miss a moment? Why miss that precious, beautiful, exciting moment, as I described, of slipping your toes into those cozy slippers? Oh, that's ecstasy in that moment. Why miss out on that? Because you're in such a hurry to get somewhere more exciting. Don't rush ahead. What's your hurry? You are an infinite, eternal being. What's your hurry? Enjoy every moment.
Okay.
All right, does that help?
That helps.
All right. Then I would suggest that for the moment, you find the most enjoyable way to get back to your seats.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Once again, we would like to take this opportunity, first of all, to thank each and every one of you, and all of you together collectively, who are participating in the co-creation of this transmission. Once again, each and every time you are willing to participate in this kind of communication, it forms not only a link and a bridge between your world, your frequency, your dimension, your reality, and ours. But also, by creating such a link, it creates a new dimension, a new reality, a new vibration that will grow and change and become a space, become a reality in which we can one day both interact more and more directly. So we thank you for the co-creation of this new space, of this new reality in which we all shall together participate. Let us begin this day of your time, this transmission, by calling this communication permission slips. Let us talk about permission slips. What are permission slips? Well, the idea we would like to share with you this day of your time is that many times we hear in conversations with many of you questions and discussions of different kinds of tools, rituals, books, information. And we are often asked, does this tool work? What about this ritual? What is the best way to do this? What is the best way to do that? Now, we have often discussed, of course, the notion that for each and every one of you individually, because each and every one of you is a distinct signature vibration, that obviously whatever tool, ritual, idea, information you attract to yourself is, by definition, at that moment, the one that will work best for you. Because it is keyed, it is matched to your frequency. That's why you attracted it. So even if the very next day you attract something different, if it is that attraction, the product of the change in your frequency, and you trust the synchronicity of your life having brought that to you, then even if it is different than what you were doing the day before, it is at that moment the perfect tool for you, because you attracted it with your frequency, like vibration to like vibration. But in talking about all of these different techniques, tools, rituals, meditations, books, information, what have you, there is something very important to understand about all these things. Be they ideas or artifacts, doesn't matter. What they really simply are permission slips that you give to yourself to be who you are. The power does not exist in those objects, in those rituals. No real effect per se comes from them. Now, we understand, of course, that in physical reality, when something is crystallized in a physical way, of course it has its own attributes. Such things as crystals are obviously representative of certain kinds of energy patterns, yes. But nevertheless, the point is that regardless of what attribute the object or idea or technique or tool itself may have inherently, the idea is that it still doesn't really create any effect within you or do anything for you unless you choose to match the frequency of the idea it symbolizes for you. So you are generating the effect yourself out of your own energy, but what you are doing is you are relying on your belief system, which sometimes can be unconscious, to attract to you the symbol that best reflects the vibration within you, that will allow you permission to be yourself. We understand that many times some of the belief systems and ideas and definitions that you are brought up believing in on your planet will create certain notions and patterns within you that makes it seem as if
You do not have the ability to be who you say you wish to be. That there are obstacles or challenges in your way that seem to prevent you sometimes, as we hear it from you, from really becoming the full person you wish to be, from really having the full passionate life you wish to have. This is not empirically true, but we understand that if you have a belief system that says it is that way, then for you it is true. Because even though there is no real empirical physical reality, your experience of physical reality is real. That is the only thing that is real. Experience is the reality, not the reality you think you're experiencing, just the experience itself. And when you gravitate toward, attract yourself to, or attract to you some particular idea of information, some particular technique of delivery, even including this idea of channeling, or some object such as a crystal or some book or some ritual or some meditation, all of those things are just a portion of yourself writing you a permission slip to let you finally be in a space that's safe for you to really express your abilities, to be more of who you are. The things themselves do nothing for you. You are doing it all. But if you feel you need an excuse to do it, a permission slip from the universe to do it, then that's what all of these tools and techniques are for. You attract what reflects the belief system within you that makes it seem as if the technique is giving you the ability to do what you want to do, but you're simply giving it to yourself. You are giving yourself permission through the symbol to be more of who you are. So please remember that when and if, at any time, you have a question in your head, what technique is the best for this? What tool should I use? All the things you're ever going to find, all the things you're ever going to have recommended to you, all the things you're ever going to be attracted to are really nothing more than a variation of a permission slip that you are giving to yourself to reveal to yourself, through the particular symbology of that slip, what kind of pattern exists, or what kind of belief system exists, or what kind of definition exists within your consciousness. And in knowing that, in going into the ritual, in using the tool or the technique with that in mind, you can empower yourself that much more rapidly, that much more powerfully, that much more thoroughly by recognizing that even though you may feel at this moment that you need that tool, need that technique in order to have what you want, in order to be who you wish to be, you can then now at this point understand it is you simply doing this by having given yourself permission to let it be all right in some kind of context that your belief system can relate to, so that you will remove any reason not to be yourself. Now, ultimately, you will understand that if this is what these things are, if they are nothing but permission slips, then certainly, as you grow, as you learn, as you expand, you will realize that any technique, any tool will work, will do the same thing, that they're all valid in that context, they're all equal, one is not better than another, and in general, you will also arrive at a point where you will realize that you don't really need them to simply make a change within yourself just because that's what you wish to do. You will simply shortcut the process, not need the technique, not need the tool. You will simply say, well, I'll just choose. I will just choose to be that way. I will just choose to be that state of being. I don't need any other tool, any other technique, other than the recognition that what I choose will be so. What I choose is up to me. And if I wish to attract a technique or tool to myself because I feel it is fun, because I feel it will give me a reason to do what I wish to do, be who I wish to be, well, all well and good, so be it. But knowing that will eventually eliminate the need for the tool itself. Because you are the primary tool, you are the primary technique. Now, we are going to cover more of the ideas I'm about to speak about in what you call tomorrow's transmission as well. But we're going to lay some foundations here and now for that. The next thing we would like to bring up in connection and in conjunction with this idea of permission slips is how to allow this concept to sink in more deeply and how to form a relationship more clearly and more consciously with what many of you have for a long time called your higher self. This mysterious higher self. Where is it? Don't know. Is he up there? Is she over there? Don't know. How high? This high? This high? Don't know. What is the higher self? Thank you. Let's address this. So you have some definitions to work with, which again are nothing but what? Permission slips. That's all we're delivering here. Everything we say, everything we deliver to you is nothing but another form of permission slip. Take which one works for you. The ones that don't work for you, let them be. Now, let's go into a little bit more detail. Higher self. All right. Most of you are familiar with the idea that you have a physical consciousness, a personality as a physical being that you relate to as yourself, so to speak. But then there is this mysterious idea of the higher self. Simply put, most of you understand, or at least intuit, that the so-called higher self, well, is relatively non-physical. Even more simply put, you could say that there is a vibrational frequency just above physical reality, just beyond physical reality, in which resides what you might refer to as a template for physical reality, or upon which you construct your physical experience. It is in that template level, just beyond the physical threshold, that the higher self exists. Now, please do not confuse the idea of higher self with oversoul or spirit or what have you. Higher self is a specific idea that is like a version of the person you are in physical reality, but a version that has a broader perspective, a broader point of view. It's like having a twin standing on a mountaintop while one is also standing in the valley. And they can communicate with each other. And the higher self can say, I see you walking down the road, and I see that there is, well, a little bit of a ditch up ahead, so if you walk this way and walk that way, you'll avoid it. And the one in the valley going, oh, thank you very much. This is, very simply put, the relationship between the two. It is you with a higher perspective, a broader perspective, a bigger picture, without the complications that can arise from the personality construct's belief system. So the higher self is like a guiding principle, a governing principle, so to speak, that is a part of your complex as a person, but is the non-physical component that acts as the conduit to even higher versions of your soul, of your being, of your spirit, but also acts as the intermediary between those higher levels and the physical personality construct, and can distill information from the higher spirit and soul over soul levels in a way that your personality can understand. So the higher self functions like a translator, taking the information from the higher levels and bringing it down to earth in a way that can communicate to the personality effectively. However, because of some of the belief systems that exist within the personality structure on your planet, there has been confusion as to exactly how to form a clear communication line to the higher self. So let's make something very, very clear. This may sound a little bit surprising, but that's all right. Surprises are good. There are 3 levels here in this idea. It might surprise you to know, as personality constructs, as physical minds, you do not conceive of any ideas. What do I mean? The personality does not conceive of concepts. It perceives concepts. It does not conceive them. Here are the three levels. The higher self conceives. The physical brain receives. The personality mind perceives. That's all it does. Any idea, any inspiration, any imagination you have ever had doesn't come from the physical mind portion of you. It comes from the higher self portion of you, through the receiver, the brain, and is translated by the brain into a vibration that the physical mind then perceives as a reflected reality. One more time, because this is crucial to understand. You don't conceive of any ideas as a physical mind. That's not what the physical mind is designed to do. It cannot create ideas. It can only perceive the result of an idea from the higher self. Now, this may sound at first somewhat limiting, but in fact, it's very, very freeing, because you can all stop thinking. You can all stop thinking you're in charge. You can all stop thinking you have to think of everything. You can all stop thinking that you're the one guiding the ship. You're not. You are just looking at the road. You're just experiencing the path that you, the whole you, is creating. But the reason you get into trouble, the reason you feel stuck as a physical mind, is because you've been taught to believe that the physical mind is the one coming up with all this stuff. And it's not. So when you try to manipulate it, it doesn't work, because the physical mind is not designed to actually create those concepts. It is only designed to perceive the effect of the creation of those concepts through the receiver, the physical brain. Now, here's also what happens. And again, this is an important distinction. Physical mind cannot perceive how something happens. It can only perceive how something happened. One more time. It's a very important distinction, and I'll explain. Physical mind does not have the capacity to perceive how something happens. It can only perceive how something happened. But because the physical mind thinks it's coming up with these things, it then takes what happened and assumes that that's how things happen. And it's not. It's only what happened that time. And it thinks, well, if I do that again, I can make this happen, I can make that happen. No. You might get some degree of repetitional success with that philosophy, but it will never go beyond the parameters of what you observed in that particular happenstance. Because what happened was designed to allow that particular thing to happen. And that particular thing doesn't necessarily require the same ingredients as something else. So when you may want something else to happen, when you may want to expand on what happened, You cannot use the same ingredients that made that happen, because then all you'll do is repeat the cycle and wonder why you're not getting anywhere. You have to allow the connection to your own higher self to be the one that will allow you to experience the reality that comes from the higher self, because the higher self is the only part of you that actually knows how things happen, because it's on the mountaintop. It has the broader perspective. It can see what's coming. It can orchestrate. You're in the valley as a physical being. From the physical perspective, your view is somewhat limited. But the idea is it doesn't matter. As we will discuss and point out, and as many of you have heard in The Secret, all you really need to do, to use the analogy they use of driving your car, is see the road just a few hundred feet ahead. You don't have to see the road all the way from your beginning to your destination. That's the higher self's point of view. So you don't have to know exactly how you're going to get there. All you need to know as the physical side of the personality mind is where you're at right now. The higher self will tell you, keep going. Turn left. Turn right. You're going to get there quicker this way. You're going to get there quicker that way. You need to stop for now. You need to take a rest. You need to take a bathroom break. Then get back in your car and keep going. That comes from the higher self portion of the total being that you are as a person, as a persona. But the physical mind aspect of the personality does not have the capacity to understand how things happen. So, stop trying to figure it out, because you never will as a physical person. Only as a higher self expression, when you are in communication and allowing that communication to occur, will you then be able to take advantage of knowing how it's going to happen, but the physical mind will not know how it's going to happen. This is using the invisible to your advantage. And this is why you talk about such things as, well, you just have to take it on faith. No, you don't. It's really about knowing and understanding the nature of your actual existence, understanding the structure of the relationship, understanding how it is you have arranged yourself as a consciousness, and then simply using it in the same way that you use a telephone, a light switch, or any other device. It's simply a matter of understanding the nature of it, and then taking advantage of using the nature of it, and using the power of the invisible, because it's very, very solid. Just because your physical mind can't perceive it, can't perceive the how of it, and how this is all happening, doesn't mean it cannot receive the benefit of how it's all happening. But in order to really do that as fully as you possibly can, you must drop the assertion and the assumption that the physical mind needs to know how everything works. Because it never, ever will. It's not designed to. And this allows you to lighten up your load, stop carrying so much baggage, stop trying to do your higher self's job, and just do your own. That's why so many of you are so tired when you are trying to do certain things in a certain way. It's because you're trying to do a job you weren't designed to do. That's exhausting. Stop. You were not hired to do that job. Your higher self already has the job, and it's working for you perfectly. Work with it. Work with it. Not against it, by trying to do the job it was designed to do. Just do the job you were designed to do, which is perceive what has happened and allow yourself to know that what has happened can be used by you to your advantage by maintaining positive meaning from your belief system into it. Allowing yourself to do that as physical mind is what will keep the communication lines open, acting on your passion, acting on your excitement, always putting positive meaning into whatever happens, is what will keep the lines open to your higher self to receive the communication, to know that you can take the next step, and the next step, and the next step, and the next step, because whatever it is that does happen will always allow you to take the next step, no matter what it is, as long as you relate to it in the appropriate way as a physical mind, and don't attempt to relate to it in an inappropriate way as a higher mind yourself. Let the higher mind come through you and relate to it, but don't try to do the higher mind's job for it. It will always, always be difficult for you to do because you're not designed to do that. So again, higher self conceives. Physical brain receives. Physical mind perceives. That's it. That is the totality of your persona in physical reality, with this connection to the level just above, vibrationally just above, what you call solid and tangible reality. Now, of course, to your oversoul, to your spirit, the higher self is actually quite solid, quite physicalized, quite a bit more dense vibrationally than you are when you are on the higher spirit level, on the oversoul level. It is, again, just above what you call the frequency of physical reality. We will go into this, as we say, in more detail, in more depth, tomorrow of your time. Also, what we will go into in more depth and in more detail tomorrow of your time is the concept that we have talked about many times and you have heard from other places many times, but which we will now deliver in a different way. The concept of the difference between state of being and circumstances. And again, this ties into what we are saying. In a nutshell, as you say, the idea is to understand, as we have said in other ways, that circumstances do not determine your state of being. Your state of being determines your circumstances. Now, what's key here, though, is to understand once again that because of the way the personality mind has been taught to think of its job, it will often hear that statement as, oh, well then, if I get into this state of being, I will create circumstances that will be exactly reflective of what I prefer. And if I don't see those, something's wrong. This is what must be avoided, is the assumption that circumstances, that the appearance of circumstances mean anything. Again, remember, they are neutral. It's what you put into them from the state of being you choose to be in that determines the effect of the state of being of your life, the quality of who you are, the level of your passion, not what the reflection looks like. So, taking this a step further, beyond the idea, beyond the mechanistic connective statement of it's not circumstances that determine your state of being, it's state of being that determines your circumstances. Taking it a step further, you could actually help break that connection that doesn't serve you by restating this idea in a more definitive way. Circumstances don't matter. Only state of being matters. Circumstances don't matter. Only state of being matters. Now listen to the way that translates in your language. Circumstances don't matter. Don't materialize things. Only your state of being matters, materializes things. So, circumstances don't matter. Only, underline, 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 only Your state of being matters. Big, fat, period. Exclamation point. Close quotes. Parentheses, brackets. Now, we will also, tomorrow of your time, in that transmission, explain in far more detail the whole idea of the energy of the transformation on your planet, the rate of acceleration, and the different gradients within it. As we now approach what we have, and many others have, labeled as the threshold crossing, your year of 2012, where the leading edge of your consciousness will have reached critical mass. And in crossing that threshold, then from that point forward, can allow more opportunity for positive creation to occur. We will, having said that, discuss in finer detail what we mean by this wave of energy that reaches critical mass, and the different gradients that go along in it, and the consequences of existing in each of those gradients, so that you can see more clearly, and you can choose more clearly, if you wish to, how to ride the front leading edge of that transformational consciousness wave, instead of simply bobbing up and down in some of the eddies and currents that follow along in its wake. Because that's what a lot of you are doing. Just bobbing around in the currents in the wake of the leading edge of the consciousness wave. But you can ride the leading edge if you wish. So, in that context, we will explain how to ride that wave. Surf's up. Now, all the things we have said, all the things we will say, all the things we are saying, come together now, in this moment, in this transmission. And once again, we thank you for the opportunity to share this perspective with you. We now ask you, if you wish, to open up to sharing and more direct interaction with what you call your questions and discussions